Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my baby essentials from newborn to 1 year. Now, this isn't going to be going over every single category or everything that you absolutely need for a baby for the whole first year. This is just a list of my must-have baby gear items, the things that have really stood out to me over this past year, the things that I find that we've used the most, that Lainey and I have loved the most, and the things that I used with both my first and my second baby. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. We're gonna go ahead and get started because I feel like this video is going to be a really long one. So grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get started. So without going in any particular order, the first thing that I want to talk about is the Fisher-Price Rock and Play. This was just one of the best things that we purchased this past year. Since Lainey was premature and she was very tiny, she couldn't sleep in a regular bassinet. Like, I purchased the Halo bassinet and it went to waste. She couldn't even use it because she couldn't sleep flat on her back. We had 2 really scary episodes when she first came home from the hospital, and we didn't know if it was reflux or if it was just from her being stuffy, but we definitely made the decision to sleep her at an incline from then on out. But she was still very much a newborn and she was not ready to sleep in her crib. The size of it overwhelmed her and she just needed to be close to us. I did not want her in her own room yet. So after getting the okay with our doctor, she slept in her rock and play every single night. And I remember the first night we put her in a rock and play, she got such good sleep. She actually slept. She was happier when she was awake. You could just tell that she was just all around happier and much more well rested. So the rock and play has a near and dear special place in my heart. Even when she wasn't sleeping in it, she was hanging out in it during the day. It was very lightweight, or it is very lightweight, and it's very compact. So you can store it anywhere you want to. You can easily carry it from room to room. So whether I was taking a shower, cooking dinner, watching TV, folding clothes, wherever I was, the rock and play was right there with us and she was in it. So I highly recommend it, and I specifically recommend the electric rock and play. They have a manual version, but spend the few extra bucks. I think it's $10 more for the electric rock and play. And it's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of sanity. It's just amazing. So I highly recommend the rock and play, and it's one of my top baby essentials. The next essential I want to talk about is the DockATot. I'm a huge fan of DockATot. I think DockATot and rock and play are 2 of my most favorite things for baby. We started out with the DockATot Deluxe, and we've just recently graduated to the DockATot Grand. I have the DockATot Deluxe. This is what Lainey used from the time she came home until just recently. Just recently she graduated into the Grand. I have the Grand as well. The Grand is a little harder to show because it's enormous. It's so much larger than the Deluxe. Lainey started sleeping in the Deluxe at about 4 months, but she was 2 months adjusted, and she recently turned 1 year old. She's 13 months now, and we just now graduated to the Grand. The Deluxe is suited for babies newborn to 8 months, and the Grand is suited for babies 9 months all the way up to 3 years. But it really just depends on your baby's size. Since Lainey was premature and she is very small, she was able to fit into the Deluxe her whole first year, and we just recently graduated to the Grand. But I love the DockATots. They're just absolutely amazing. They're machine washable, the covers are, so no matter if baby has a blowout, a spit up, or they spill some food or juice on it, you can unzip it and throw it in the washing machine. They hold their shape. They are firm but soft. They're breathable. They have an ideal climate for babies, so Lainey has never overheated. She's never gotten too cold. I could go on and on and on about the DockATot, but I truly love it, and I recommend it to all new moms, seasoned moms, anybody who asks me what my top 3 baby essentials are. DockATot is always one of my recommendations. But I just recently did a whole video dedicated to DockATot. I did a review and an unboxing of my Grand. So if you're interested in finding out anything else about the DockATot, I highly recommend watching that video, and I will have it linked down below for you. The next essentials I want to talk about are the Boppies, and I have 2 different ones. This first one is the Boppy Lounger. You can tell it's the Lounger because it's just the donut style. And then you've got the original Boppy, which is like the horseshoe shape. So the Lounger we still use to this day. Lainey, when she first came home, we had this before we had the DockATot. So whenever she would lounge around on the couch or in the bed or anything, she would lounge on the lounger. And we also do her feedings in her lounger. Lainey is formula fed, and she has been since she came home from the hospital. I pumped while she was in the NICU, and we had a situation when we got home and my milk ended up drying up. So if you want to know more about that, you can go back and watch my postpartum updates. And I noticed with both of my kids, they did not eat well whenever I was holding them. They'd get too distracted, they'd fall asleep. So I put Lainey in the lounger, and that's where she takes all of her bottle feeding. So I'll just lay her on it, and I would hold her bottle for her, and she would eat much better and much more efficiently that way. And she still eats in her lounger. I just lay the lounger on the floor and lay her on her lounger, hand her bottle, and she can feed herself her bottle these days. So yeah, she still eats in her lounger, but I really do like the lounger. I definitely recommend it, especially if you have a newborn, because it's just the perfect size. And then I also want to recommend the original Boppy. And you might be asking why I have two Boppies, and it's because they are completely different. Yes, your baby can lounge in this, but I used this for a completely different reason. One, I used this whenever Kason was a newborn, and I breastfed with him laying on this, so I would just wrap it around me and lay him across it, and it was much more comfortable for him and much more comfortable for me to breastfeed him that way. And then it's also great for younger family members, younger siblings, young children, when they want to hold the baby and they want to bond with the baby. You can put the original Boppy around them as well. That way the baby and them get a lot of extra support whenever they are holding and snuggling the new baby. And I also use the original Boppy for learning for them to sit unassisted. So I'll just wrap it around them, and Lainey used it for a long time. It took her a little bit longer to sit than it took Kason, but I would just put the Boppy around her, and she would do like 20 to 30 minutes just sitting in the Boppy and working on her core muscles, working on her back, her core, and just learning to sit unassisted. And she really enjoyed doing that, because even though her body wasn't allowing her to do certain things and she really wanted to sit up, she wanted to play, she was tired of laying down, so it was really nice. I would just set her toys in front of her, put a toy in her hand, and she would just sit there and play, and it was a nice little breakup in the day for her, just another activity for her to do. So there's a lot of really good uses for the Boppy and the Boppy lounger. So there's a couple different baby carriers that I want to talk about. I was very, and still am very, into baby wearing with Lainey. I wasn't so much into it with Kason, I think mainly just because he was my first baby and I could just put him in a stroller and call it a day. But now that I have my second baby and I have a toddler to look after, sometimes it's so much easier to baby wear. That way I have my hands free and I can still run after and hold Kason's hand when we're out in public. So there's two that I want to mention, and they're both from LILLEBABY. The first one is the LILLEBABY Complete. I have the Complete 6-in-1 all seasons carrier. I love this one for when I'm going to be wearing her for longer periods of time, just because it offers more support and it's more comfortable for long periods of time. And then I also have the LILLEBABY ring sling. I prefer this one whenever I'm doing quick, shorter errands. So if I need to run to the store and I'm only going to be in there for 30 minutes or less, I'll put her in the ring sling just because it's so quick and easy, and it's just really ideal for shorter periods of time. I wish I would have had this whenever she was a lot smaller. I think I would have worn her for longer, but now that she's getting older and she's getting bigger, I prefer this one for shorter errands, and I prefer the all seasons complete carrier if I'm gonna be wearing her for longer. I did a video comparing both the complete all seasons and the ring sling, and I do a demo in that video of both of them. I go over both of them and why I like both of them and what I use them for. So if you want more information, I'm gonna have that video linked down below. I'm also doing a giveaway in that video, and that giveaway is not gonna be open much longer, so make sure you go and check it out and enter before it's too late. The next baby essential is for my formula fed babies, and it's the Fuel Baby bottle. I had just discovered this about a month ago, and I am kicking myself because I would have just loved to have this when Lainey first came home from the hospital. This bottle is a prep and go shake style bottle. So at the bottom, you hold your powdered formula. There's a little shaker ball that clicks into the bottom, or clicks into the base, and then you put your water. This holds up to 8 ounces. When you're ready to feed your baby, you press this little button at the bottom. The ball shoots into the water, and the water and the formula mix, and you just shake the bottle and you're good to go. This is perfect for traveling, perfect when you're on the go and you're out during the day and your baby needs to eat. It's so much better this way than having to carry your bottle, your formula, or a little tub that you keep your formula in, and mixing and worrying about germs and contaminating your formula. This is just so much easier. It's a grab and go sort of situation. You just prep it beforehand, put it in your diaper bag, and you're good to go. I love this so much. Not even just that, but prepping for middle of the night feedings. If for whatever reason you're not breastfeeding your baby as a newborn and you're formula feeding, those every 2 to 3 hour feedings in the middle of the night, having to get up and make a bottle, it can just be not a good situation. So imagine being able to prep your bottles, all the bottles that you're gonna need that night, leave them on your bedside table. That way when your baby wakes up, you grab your bottle off your bedside table, shake it up, get your baby out of their bassinet and feed. You don't have to get out of bed. The only time you have to get out of your bed is to get your baby. You don't have to go into the kitchen to make a bottle, nothing. So I actually have a discount code with Fuel Baby Bottle. I'll have it linked down below, as well as their website. You have got to check them out. These bottles are a godsend and a lifesaver and a time saver if you have a formula fed baby. Next up, I want to talk about blankets. And my favorite blankets that I've used for Lainey are the muslin swaddle blankets. Now, I'm not a huge snob when it comes to brands because I have multiple different brands. There's just certain muslin swaddle blankets that I prefer over others. These are 2 of my favorites. This is from a brand called HP, and I believe I found these at Marshall's in a pack of 3. And then this is Balboa Baby, and I got this in a set of 2 from Babies R Us, and I love both of these. Lainey especially loves these. These are nice and large, so they suit her even now. I don't keep any thick blankets in her crib. These are the only blankets that she uses. She did not like the swaddle sacks when she was a newborn. Kason loved the swaddle sacks. He couldn't do these, but Lainey loved these, and honestly I like these better than the sacks too. And now that she's older, she's not swaddled, but she snuggles with these at night. And there's certain babies, like my son, who has carried around this stuffed lion since he was an infant, and he loves it and he sleeps with it every night. Lainey's definitely the type of baby that prefers a blanket. So you know, you see those kids walking around with blankets, these are going to be her blanket because she chews on them, she loves on them. She has one whenever she's awake in the living room or in her bedroom when she's playing. We bring one wherever we go in our diaper bag. They're just really essential for us. I also like Aiden and I, we have a few of those in the bedroom too, but I just how I store them is I just roll them up, and I have this basket that I set on top of her dresser, and I just put all of the folded or the rolled up muslin blankets in there. It's kind of like a decoration in there, and then it's also just easy to store, grab, and go. So I wanted to mention the muslin swaddle blankets. I think they're wonderful. They have a nice texture to them. They're lightweight, so I don't worry about Lainey sleeping with them at night, and they're really good at cleaning up little messes and spit ups here and there too. So I definitely recommend these. These are one of our baby essentials as well. The next baby essential I want to talk about is the Fisher-Price Sit Me Up. Lainey loved this, and she used this for months while she was learning how to sit. Even when she knew how to sit unassisted, she would still sit in this because she was so tiny and she just fit it for a long time. But I love the Sit Me Up. It's got rubber bases on the bottom, so whether I was cooking dinner or I was doing the dishes, I could put her in this and safely set her on the counter while she was supervised, and she would sit in it. She could look at me. She was sitting up. They've got little toys that you can easily detach, and you can put other toys on there as well. But she just really loved this. It folds up nice and flat, so we would take it with us whenever we went to our parents' houses or whenever we would go visit somebody else's house for a little while, just so she had somewhere to sit. The cover is also machine washable. It's super easy to take on and off, which I really appreciate. And I love that it's easy to throw in the washing machine because I can't tell you how many times she spit up in this thing. She's had a few blowouts in this thing, but I have a lot of mom friends, and almost all of them have the Sit Me Up for their babies as well, and all of their babies loved it. So it's a really nice, inexpensive toy and play station for the babies whenever they are tired of laying down all the time, but they're not sitting unassisted just yet. It's really great. I highly recommend it. It's really accessible and easy to find too. So definitely get your hands on it. You will not regret it, and your baby will love it. The next essential I want to talk about is a play mat. We have the Fisher-Price piano playmat, and Kaysen had an Infantino kind of teepee style one when he was a baby. No matter what sort of mat it is, I highly recommend getting a playmat. I really like the piano playmat, but the Infantino worked great too. Lainey and Kaysen both loved their playmats. I have always been a big fan of making playstations for the babies during the day, just so it breaks up their day a little bit. It's not so monotonous and they're not just laying in one spot all day. So like with the rock and play, we'd do rock and play for about 30 minutes, and then we'd probably have a feeding, and then after the feeding, we would do a sit me up, and we'd sit up in the Fisher-Price sit me up, and then after that, we'd play on the floor in our playmat for a little bit. We'd do some tummy time. So I'm a huge fan of doing playstations, and I feel like a playmat is essential for that. It's really great at getting them to focus and look at different toys. They practice reaching. It's just wonderful. I highly recommend a playmat. Again, I had the Fisher-Price piano playmat, and I really like that. It also grows with them because you can detach the piano when they're a little bit older. Like now when she's sitting up and she's crawling, and she can play with just the piano portion. So highly recommend a playmat. I think it's absolutely essential. The next essentials I want to talk about, I feel like you don't necessarily need both, but I enjoyed both of them, and that was a jumper and a walker. Kaysen never had a walker, so that's why this is kind of one of those pick and choose sort of situations. I got a walker for Lainey just because she's been a baby longer than Kaysen has due to her prematurity and her adjusted age. So we had a little Einstein's jumper, which was Kaysen's, and he loved it. We saved it for next baby, and Lainey used that for a long time too. She really loved it. It was one of those jumpers where the seat turns, and there's like 4 different playstations in it, and there's toys that hang down. So I really recommend a jumper. I think it's great when babies are working on being stronger, working on standing, working on their leg muscles, their core muscles, everything. So I really recommend a jumper or some sort of activity center like that, and then a walker as well. We have a Costco walker, and Lainey loves it. I've seen such a huge difference in her since getting the walker. It's made her use her legs a lot more. She basically runs in it. She absolutely loves the walker. But like I said, Kaysen didn't have a walker, so that's why I'm just kind of combining them both into sort of one category. You can either get both or just pick one or the other. But we've really enjoyed both. Lainey's really enjoyed both of them, and it's just so funny to watch her in that walker because it took her like 2 days to figure it out, and then she was off and running, chasing after her big brother in it. So I really like both of those. I love a jumper and I love a walker. I know sometimes jumpers can be a little controversial. Some people aren't into them, but I used it with both of my kids and they loved it. So those are 2 essentials of mine as well. The last baby essential I want to mention is a jogging stroller. I'm a huge fan of our jogging stroller. Now I have 2 different strollers. I have one stroller that I take with us and leave in the car when we're out running errands. And then I have our jogging stroller that stays home and only comes with us if we're gonna be doing long periods of outdoor activities. They're both by Graco, but the stroller that I bring with us when we go to like the mall or go to the store, it came as a whole travel system. So our car seat clicks into it. It's really lightweight, it folds up, and it has a detachable toddler seat as well. So I prefer that when I'm out and about and running around because it's just very lightweight and it's easy to manage. And then our jogging stroller is what I keep at home because it's much heavier, but it's so much smoother and sturdier for when we go on walks, when we do sort of outside activities. So I see a huge difference whenever we push our indoor stroller and our outdoor stroller. So that's why I definitely recommend a jogging stroller, especially if you're a very athletic family and you plan on being outdoors a lot. I feel like jogging stroller is essential. If you're not huge on being outdoors and you don't feel like you're going to be going on walks all that often or doing any sort of outdoor festival type activities, then I wouldn't bother. But if you're an athletic family and you're outside a lot, I highly recommend a jogging stroller. It's going to make the hugest difference for you and for baby. Pushing it and riding along with it, it's going to be so much smoother going up curbs, rolling in the grass, rolling on dirt or gravel. It's a huge difference than pushing an indoor stroller. So that's why I wanted to mention it. I don't know the exact name of our stroller, but I will have it linked down below, as well as all the products that I talked about today. But I got it at Bye Bye Baby, and what's amazing about buying Graco at Bye Bye Baby is that their 20% off coupons that they send out monthly or every few weeks works on Graco. So I was able to get my nice jogging stroller for 20% off with that Bye Bye Baby 20% off coupon. So I highly recommend, if you're gonna go stroller shopping, to check Bye Bye Baby first, because you might get lucky and that 20% off coupon might work. But I wanted to mention the jogging stroller because it's definitely an essential for our family. All right, guys, that is going to be it for my baby essentials. These are all my must-have baby gear items that have really stood out to me this past year and that we've used and loved the most. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out all of the links down below in the description box. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.